In this video, I'm going to discuss how to address range a segment of arc where in this case, the north-south segment ends up in a different area on the north side than the south side. So as you can see in this section of arc, on the south side we have 473rd Avenue, we have 474th Avenue. So these ranges will be ranged from 01 to 99. However, on the north side of this arc, we can see that the road comes down along the section line and should join up here, but for one reason or another it does not, and it veers off, and it gives us about an additional 255 feet. Now, as you can see, the person that did this work just went from 47300, 47398 on the top and stopped it right here. And then when they started here, they started at 47400. And they went to 47404. But the kicker is this. The north side, 474th Avenue, is to the east of that yet. These, on the north side, should be 473 addresses yet. And that is how that's incorrect. And I'm going to show you how we fix them. And we'll fix it for this arc on the north side. And then we will have to adjust ranges on the south side, because in this case over here, when I select this 302nd street on the north side, these should start 47400 and go to 47498. But on the south side, 47401 should be in here in this 255 foot section and then go this way. So I'm going to show you how we range around these intersections where they don't line up in a straight four-way. The first thing that you do is select these two arc segments, and then what you can do using my attribute window, we can look at this and say, okay, this one's 5248, this one is 255.51. Another thing that you can do is you can bring your window in, your attribute window, and you can do a thing by right-clicking and going down to statistics, and this will quickly calculate these for you. It gives you a whole bunch of extra windows that I don't really care about, like distribution and stuff like that. But what you can do here is you can go down to the selection and see the sum. And the sum of the selected features are 5,503 feet. Okay? So we know that the total length of the mile on the north side is 5,503. So this is how we calculate our yardage. We say 55 lots. And that winds up being 110.06. So our standard is 105.6 feet on a 5280 foot mile. This one's longer, so we're going to use 110.06. So what you do is you circle back to our lengths on our arc, and we see that our big arc length is 5248. So we calculate 5248, and we divide that by 106. And that tells us it's 46 lots. We multiply that by 2, and we come up with a number of 93.5. Alrighty. So we know what this number is. We could round that up to 94. And I think that's what I usually do if it's on a. You could go either way. Actually, maybe the thing to do here is we're seeing at 93.5, so we will round that up to 94. If it's 94 for the even side, I add 1 and call it 95 for the south. But that's generally how I do things, because 0, when you go from 0 to 10, you add one number for the odd side and you go 1 to 11. So I just always add 1 for the odd side. So we have 93.5. Our ending range on the north side is going to be 473.94. And what that means for the follow-up, for the short arc, that gives us just enough room. There's 255 feet here. So we know that the ending value is going to be 47398, and this will be 47396, because this is ending at 94. This starts at 96 and ends at 98. So and that makes sense. There's about enough room for 2 addresses in this piece. That is how we address range around the north side of this arc. And we continue on. When we get to the next section of arc, we can see that this is still our problem, but the roads line up square here. This is a standard 4-way intersection. So we know that the ending ranges on this section of arc are going to be 47498 and 47499. So you can populate those right in here anyway, which has been done already. But what we need to do now is we need to understand that on the north side of the road, 474th Avenue on the north side starts right here. So on the north side, or the even numbers, this is going to be 47400. Now the north side is done. 47400 on the left, 47498 on the south. But when we start over here, 474th Avenue on the south, or the odd side, starts right over here on this short piece. So we know that on the north side, this is done already. This went from 96 to 98. There are 2 numbers there, 96 to 98. So we know we have 2 addresses. What I would do in this case is definitely start at 47401, and I would switch this to 47403. And that will calculate that correctly on this side. And then on this one, the next number will be 47405, and it will end at 47499. That is how you range around a series of arc segments where it's not a 4-way intersection.